Welcome to the Parkland Report. My name is Seamus Riley. Joining me in this program, Kendra McClure, faculty member in Fine and Applied Arts, and Cindy Smith, Media Content Coordinator. Welcome to the Parkland Report.
Thank you.
We're going to talk today about an idea that surfaced a long time ago, and I might have had something to do with it, about ways in which we could include students in an application of what they were learning in the classroom, but in a real way. So Kendra, why don't you talk a little bit about what the first ideas were and how we arrived at AMP?
Sure, yes. Well, I'll begin by explaining what AMP is. It's a student-staffed strategic communication firm that provides students with the opportunity to get hands-on experience doing promotional work, advertising, PR, that sort of thing. And it creates a bridge between the classroom and their ultimate career. So they get a transition point between doing work for a grade and doing work for hire. It's this middle ground that's very nice. And I understand the idea had been floating around for quite some time, even before I came on board at Parkland. I started full-time in 2010. And at that time, I mentioned to our department chair, Nancy Sutton, that I had experience with a student-staffed firm, and I thought it might be a great thing to start here at Parkland. And she said, well, actually, that idea has been floating around for a while. She had a similar idea, and I know that, Seamus, it's been something that you wanted to get off the ground for a while. So we started the conversation. I got my feet on the ground as a faculty member and got to know the students a little bit and thought about what kinds of models might work best for this campus. And in the spring of 2014, we piloted AMP after partnering with Cindy. And so many people weighed in on what our business plan should be and what the model would be, and piloted with great success in the spring of 2014. We started with 3 students, 2 account executives and a graphic designer, piloted with a client called the Parkland Entrepreneurial Network, which you also have a little something to do with here. And we did our official launch in the fall of 2014, and at that time quadrupled. We had so much student interest that we feel like we're at capacity at this moment. We've continued that momentum into now the spring, and we hope to have the resources in the future to expand even further and continue that positive momentum.
So you talk a lot there about the difference between what happens in the classroom. Now, when you're in the classroom, you are simulating sort of the professional experience. I mean, you're talking about real-world experience. But there's a very real learning that takes place when a student, as part of AMP, has to go and work with a client. What are some of the conditions you think that sort of lead to that student getting a little bit more out of the experience?
It's a great question, and I think there might be the feeling that the stakes are a little higher. In the classroom, it's the ultimate safety net, right? Yes. You know, you've got the support of your faculty member, a lot of information's being given to you along the way, and there's a very controlled structure that goes along with it. And I still, as you said, try to simulate that experience as best I can, but it's the foundation. And then AMP provides that extra next level that the class in a 16-week period just can't supply, in the sense that you're working with clients that are truly depending on you to get that work done and out to them. And I don't want to say the standards are higher, because the classes have high standards as well, but when you're doing work for a grade, there's a little bit of a different pressure than if you're doing work that's actually going to be implemented, and needs to be at that truly professional level, and that's what AMP provides to the students.
Cindy, talk a little bit about the sort of day-to-day operations, sort of your role in sort of facilitating and letting people know that AMP exists, and marketing, and then also helping to shepherd these great and creative minds and direct them in a particular way.
So, yes, as you said, I'm the Media Content Coordinator for Fine and Applied Arts. So my job is to promote the Fine and Applied Arts programs, which is how I kind of partnered with AMP. I was already doing the things that we're asking our students to do when they come into AMP. So I go out, I network with people, I find projects that might be conducive to student learning, that match well with what they're learning in the classroom, but also that expand beyond that. So you know, it's kind of knowing what the project is and what the student skill level is, because we do have to, every semester, you have to kind of coordinate what level of skill do you have, what, say if we want to do PSAs for a particular client, do I have students who have taken radio? And if they have, well, they can write their own radio programs and then actually voice them in our WPCD here at Parkland. So that's a good opportunity for them to build their portfolios. So I'm looking for things that allows the students to really build their portfolios and expand those skills. And then once we get those submitted to us, then Kendra and I go through them and vet them for the best projects, because we're finding that we're never lacking for projects. People always have something they'd like us to do. The other thing that's different, I think, about the coursework, when Kendra does a project in the PR classes, they don't have a graphic designer paired with them, so they're not able to create graphic work, that kind of thing. In AMP, they work as teams. So the students are working, there's a team for every project. There's always a graphic designer with every project, and they work together to come to some sort of a resolution for the client. So my job is to see that they're meeting deadlines, that they're showing up when they're supposed to show up. It very much is simulating a real-world job.
So a lot of the work that we do in the classroom and sort of simulating the experience for students at Parkland here sort of works on this notion that you have to work collaboratively, you have to work in groups. But like you said, sometimes when you're in a specialized subject matter, you may only have people who are in that subject. So what AMP gives us sort of is a miniature version of the real world, because you are working with different skills and different skill sets and different levels and working together collaboratively. The ideas and concepts that they're working on, though, are really applicable. In other words, you are doing marketing and public relations for the Fine Applied Arts department and for other clients throughout. Talk a little bit about the experience for the students of actually seeing their kind of idea and concept and coordination with the client become realized and then visible and actually on campus.
The students are really excited to get to work with the clients. For many of them, it's the first time they've really worked with anybody that is in any position of authority in a job or in a business. And so it's very nerve-wracking for them to be out there first and to come in into a meeting and have to actually control that meeting. And they do that. We sit in the back and watch, and if we need to interject, we will. But for the most part, the students run their client meetings themselves. They're responsible for knowing the material and presenting it, and for getting the client the information from the client that we need to progress. So for them to achieve that, to be able to go in and do that, they come out of it with a really heightened sense of accomplishment. And then for the graphic designers, when they see their pieces actually come to fruition and be printed, and they see them around the campus, or a client, you know, is really happy with what they're getting in a meeting, and they're saying, wow, we really like this is great. Again, it's a sense of real accomplishment for them, and a sense that they're doing something very real. You know, it's not like in the classroom where you have a particular variables that you're dealing with, and you know, okay, I'm doing this, but it's not really going anywhere after the course. You know, I just turned in for a grade. Well, when you're doing it for a client, it's real. It's out there in the public. People are seeing this. They're being recognized for that, and that's huge for the students. In fact, one of the biggest things, I think.
So Kendra, talking about being out there in the public, recently the Champaign County Economic Development Corporation, as part of its Innovation Celebration, we had the opportunity to nominate and award an Innovation Celebration Award for AMP. Can you talk a little bit about what that was like from your point of view as somebody who started with, like you said, 3 students, and then sort of see it grow and realize, you know, what we had done, and
Sure.
how was it?
Sure. Well, first of all, thank you, because I know you had a lot to do with that award, and it was such an honor to be recognized, especially since we really haven't been around too terribly long. I mean, it's been the growth that has happened over the last 3 semesters, and the success that we've had because of that student dedication and their abilities, and just how they've blossomed and taken hold of this. It was such an honor for that to be recognized, and it gave us a push to keep going and to continue improving and try to do even better work and more work in the future.
So, you know, although this is within sort of fine applied arts, I mean, I know something that I had considered at one point was, is this something that can mushroom throughout academic departments, all 9 of them? Or is this something that can be coordinated by Fine and Applied Arts? Because a lot of what you're doing does have applicability across the whole college. What are some of your thoughts about ways in which we can continue to grow and develop the program?
Sure. Well, one of the ways that we've already started that process is we've brought on a faculty advisor from CSIT, the computer science area, to help us develop a new website for PCTV, the channel that people are watching right now. Yeah. So the new website is in the works. I assume that's okay to talk about. It's not official yet. Of course, it hasn't launched, but that is behind the scenes one of our clients. And so we've brought on and partnered with that department because we needed expertise that was beyond the realm of fine and applied arts. And so far that's going very well. We hope to have within either at the end of this semester or perhaps even continuing into the fall, working to make that happen. So that's one way, is to look out beyond fine and applied arts and invite other faculty advisors and other students in. And we will take students of all majors. And we've had really just anyone with an interest in promotion and promotional work, regardless of their major, would be welcome to join us and engage in the work that we do.
Well, we know how important marketing and public relations is in every single facet of our society right now, and how much people are involved in the creative process. I want to thank you very much for being here today and for the work that you have been doing with our students and continue to do. Thanks so much.
Thank you for having us. Appreciate it.
We'll be right back after this short break.
My name is Tahar Baziz, and I have taken the pharmacy technician training at Parkland College. I am a pre-pharmacy student here at Parkland College, so that class is a very good introduction to my career. My favorite part of the class is learning about drugs, more specifically the names and the different uses of the drugs. My long-term goals are becoming a pharmacist and work at a pharmacy or a hospital, and then come back to the university and do research.
My name is Lisa Dean, and I took the Leadership Management Series through BTC at Parkland College. I absolutely enjoyed it thoroughly. I gained so much professionally and personally from this series. For the instructor who taught our class, Steve Welland, has a very open atmosphere in his classroom, and we were able to work together with a number of other businesses here in town, people from computer engineering to manufacturing, and we all came to the table with the same problems: communication skills, different personalities in the workplace, and we were able to go into small group and dissect part of that and learn a lot about ourselves. I hope to go ahead and take the Advanced Leadership Series. It's going to be a new series in the fall. I'm sure I'm going to benefit, my team's going to benefit, and I think it'll be a good process.
Hi, I'm Sarah Von Holten, and I am the account executive for the branding of AMP and also for the Haiti project.
My name is Ian Williams, and I'm the account executive for AMP, and I've been working on the Aztec Success project.
Currently a graphic design student here at Parkland College, and I needed some extra credit hours for my internship, and I felt that AMP would be a perfect opportunity for me to do so.
AMP is a strategic communications firm that was founded in 2014, and it provides students with the opportunity to apply what they learn in the classroom in terms of writing and critical thinking skills to real scenarios.
So the structure of AMP is that we have students who have some experience in PR or advertising, and if they have experience, then they're considered our account executives. They would be the primary point of contact between our clients and the rest of AMP. If we have students come in and they don't have any experience, then those students would be the assistant account executives.
Clients come to us and they need promotional work done, and from there the students look at the promotional challenge and develop a strategic plan that will serve the client's needs, and then they work to execute that plan over the course of a semester.
We have a creative team that would include graphic designers, videographers, photographers, possibly even somebody from hospitality. That allows us to draw in more people from more areas of the college, which is kind of our primary goal. We try to be all-inclusive and include as many people from as many different areas as we can.
AMP has helped my work ethic in the sense that I understand how important it is to be there and to be on time, and you're a part of a team. So if you're not pulling your weight, you're pulling everyone else down.
AMP has given me some good opportunities to increase the work in my portfolio. I'm a graphic design student, so working with communication students and business students allow me to really see things from a different angle.
So I've actually always had a passion for PR. I just never knew where to focus it. And that's one of the things that AMP has led me to do. It actually taken the skills that I've already had and the skills I didn't know I had and actually made them come alive.
I was given the opportunity to work on the Haiti project to do some recruitment for some students for an internship. And I would love to work for the Walt Disney Company and do some recruiting for them for their college program or to work on the cruise line. So now I have actual tangible experience to show the company that I can do this, and it's been awesome.
Welcome back to the Parkland Report. Joining me now, some students from the AMP program. Ian Williams, Kate Ross, and Paige Schwartz. You're very welcome to the Parkland Report.
Thank you for having me.
Tell me a little bit about your majors, what you do here, and your experience. How'd you get involved with AMP, Ian?
Well, I'm a communications major. This is my last semester. Yay. But I actually got involved through AMP. Actually, I've heard about it through my introduction to advertising class. We were actually doing a project through Fine and Applied Arts, and it was actually kind of a combination thing. So I asked Kendra McClure about it, and here I am.
Here you are. Paige, how about you?
I actually am majoring in communications as well, and I heard about AMP through Kendra McClure in my intro to advertising class too. We do a project, a class-wide project, and it was she recruited a couple people from my class, so that's how I heard about it.
And Kate, what about you?
I'm a graphic design major, and I heard about it in a graphic design class. My instructor just said, you know, if this is something you might be interested in, email this person, and I did, and it worked out.
So what was it that you were interested about? What piqued your interest, Kate, and so what was the experience like?
Well, it just sounded like it would be really good experience for a resume because it's design work, but it's also collaboration with communications majors, and you're working with real clients. I'm coming to Parkland for a career change, so I've been out in the real world before, and so just knowing my experience with working full-time jobs before, when I heard about this, I thought, wow, that sounds great, you know, I want to go into this field. So far, it's been wonderful. I've been working here for 2 months and just have already gotten a ton of experience designing and collaborating and writing, helping to write copy. We kind of wear a lot of different hats, so I like that part too.
Paige, talk a little bit about some of the projects that you've worked on.
I actually just started last semester. That was my first, and I only did a minimal of 3 hours a week, and now I do 12 hours, so I am in there a lot more. But currently, right now, I am working on the Wesley Food Pantry Project, which is a nonprofit here in Champaign-Urbana, and I work with our designers. Kate's actually one of my designers, and then Melanie Iverson is also my designer, so we all collaborate, work. They do our graphic work. I've produced copy and some communication or community event plans and some social media plans. So a lot of writing, which I think is really beneficial because I'm not the strongest writer, so having this is really improved my writing skills. So that is one of the projects I worked on, and then last semester I did some minimal work for just some recruitment cards for the CSIT students that we were wanting to incorporate in AMP, and then a couple things with Melanie as well. I looked over some copy a lot, so that's a lot of what I do.
Ian, talk a little bit about, you've been doing this for a little bit. Talk a little bit about acquisition of skills and how you have grown as a professional during your experience with them.
Well, just like Paige, like my writing wasn't the strongest. Like I've learned early on not to add fluff, just got to be straight to the point. So I think that's helped me, especially just not with like professionally wise, but academic as well, because it actually takes you into kind of like a whole nother place. Like you'll look at things differently. Like you've done this, so it's like trial and error thing. So I think it's been really helpful academically and professionally. Talking in front of people is another biggest one, because I used to be one of the shyest people. Now it's just like, okay, let's do it. Like it's just like second nature. So I think that's one of the biggest probably things that I've learned ever since being in AMP, and it has been a while.
Can you talk a little bit about like how the structure works? In other words, you know, it's a very fluid piece, right? I mean, there's lots of students drop in and out. You got people working for a couple hours a week, and then they grow to 12 hours. Talk a little bit about how that's coordinated, and then a little bit about how the students sort of take responsibility.
Well, honestly, it's kind of ran like it would be in the real world. It's like a business. Like we have our bosses, we're underneath them, and then we also have a team that we work collaboratively on. Like with Paige, she works with Kate as graphic design. I also have a graphic design lead that I work with, Benji. Then I have also a team of assistant account executives where we come together, we have our weekly meetings, we talk about what we need to do, go over strategic planning, social media plans, and things like that. So it's just, it's kind of, like I said before, it's a very professional, like kind of real life flow to it.
Kate, was this an easy way for you to get back in, you know, having been in the real world and working real jobs? Did this seem a little bit more like an easier way for you to get back into the education groove?
Yeah, I think so. I think it added value instantly to the degree that I'm pursuing right now at Parkland. My classes have been excellent, but you know, in class, an assignment has steps 1 through 10. And if you're creating a design for a client, you are going to have steps 1 through 10, steps A, B, C, D. You know, there's a lot more to it.
You sort of come in with the idea that I know conceptually what I want to do, but now I have to interact with a client and they're stretching me, and I actually have to, and suddenly I have to be a little bit more creative even than I thought I was already.
Yes, absolutely. Oh my goodness, like I said, there's so much back and forth. You know, you go in with an idea, and in class it's basically you're a team of one. You know, you're promoting yourself, and where you want to take a project is where it's going to go. But with a client, they're the lead technically, and so you are bringing expertise to it, so you can really fight for some of the design choices that you want to make. But at the end of the day, if they don't like it, you need to go back and do something different, and that's been great.
So as a writing instructor, Paige, I always talked about context and audience and understanding audience and how to reach an audience. I know you mentioned not-for-profit. Can you talk a little bit about some of the other clients that you've had on campus maybe, and what that experience has been like?
Melanie did the presentation center, and she's done study abroad. I actually haven't been a part of like a campus-wide one since I was so minimal hours last semester. So I've really taken on the nonprofit, and I am on that full-time now currently. So I guess from where I started last semester has kind of helped me reach where I am now, as in getting those small projects that I had to do, just help or just look over something, has helped me now with what I'm doing for my nonprofit. So thinking about who my target audience is and thinking about how I should go about pleasing my client, or how we should talk about it as a team together. So I think last semester really helped that I really wasn't on a certain project, that I just kind of did little work because I was there so minimal time. I think that really helped grow into the now what I am now, 12 hours a week.
What's it like as somebody who's participated on a project and you get to see the project come to fruition and you get to actually see the actual visual piece that you have created? What does it feel like?
It's really cool. I am in a radio class right now, and so I do PSAs for our clients. So I go on the radio and record it, and it's so weird to hear myself on the radio. It is actually really cool to see my work out there. You know, I didn't design it, but those are my words that are up on that design. So I think that's really cool to say, hey, I took part in that, and it's really rewarding. And then when you know that you pleased a client, that's even more rewarding, and knowing that you completed the job the way they wanted it done.
So Ian, even though it's only been a few short semesters, I mean, it's sort of amazing like how many different pieces that you have been a part of. Oh, yeah. You know, that's almost like a whole portfolio. You can take that with you when you leave for for your future career plans, right?
Of course I can. Actually, excuse me. One of the very first projects that I actually started working on was the Parkland Entrepreneurial Network. That blossomed into something I probably would have never thought that it could be as of today. Just to seeing that implementation and just everything that they've been doing so far has been amazing. As far as I'm also working on a nonprofit as well, Illinois Radio Reader. That's a whole different spectrum from working on a campus-wide project and then actual nonprofit, because it's two totally different things. But it teaches you the same value that it has been, and it is a great portfolio builder.
So Kate, as somebody who's worked in the real world, I know that, people come to school and they have an expectation that they're going to get a credential that's going to help them to get a job and to build a career. How important is it, you think, for students to have an appreciation for something that is not profit-oriented, that is a non-profit concept or organization? What has that done for you personally, and what do you think it does for students who have to interact with those organizations?
I think that it's, budget is kind of the king over us all. We are working right now with the Wesley Food Pantry, and like I was saying before, we came to the table with ideas, and we can design the moon and the stars, with the programs that we have, but if they have a budget for a 2-color printing process, then we have to be creative within those parameters. And so I think a lot of times, a lack of funding or kind of breeds creativity in ways that you can't explore in a classroom when if you're doing an imaginary project, then your budget could be $100,000 for printing and all of this stuff, but if your budget is $100, you really have to stretch your abilities, and so I think it's fabulous experience.
Is there a sort of a sustainable sort of concept here that you're sort of beginning to think about? How much do I really need to spend to get the same impact versus I can spend whatever I want?
Yeah, oh, absolutely. There's so much, because of the changing nature of media and marketing with social media, there's so much available to you if you have a very small budget. All you need to do is put in the time and the effort to figure that out, and that's what we do. And so it's, yeah.
Paige, I want to ask you a little bit about, and I'll ask all three if I can, what it was like to get the award and be part of that innovation celebration experience.
I think it's really rewarding because somebody is recognizing us out in the community. And so people, may not know that this even exists at Parkland College. And when you go to something like that, the whole community is opened up to seeing what kind of work you do and how you do it and how you go about it. And so I think, to me, I think it's awesome that, we had the opportunity to go to that and win. I mean, ultimately win the award. But I think also, though, it opens our eyes to see that there's so much more than, what we're doing. People are actually looking at what we're doing, and I think that's really awesome.
So Kate, did it help you to sort of bridge from, I'm going back in school now, I'm going through this, but seeing beyond the end to the future career?
Yeah, it was really exciting. Like I said, I just started here 2 months ago, and so just to be at that event and have this group be honored so publicly at such an awesome celebration was a great kind of beginning to my start here. I was just in awe of the other nominees and award winners that night. I didn't even know a lot of that stuff was going on in Champaign County, period. So I'm happy to be here. I'm happier to live in this community. It was awesome.
What about you, Ian?
Just starting out with AMP, it was very unexpected, just because I'm doing what I love and it's teaching me very valuable lessons. So it's not like I'm looking for recognition, but to be recognized is probably one of the most greatest feelings in the world, because you're doing what you love and people are actually seeing what you're doing, and just to have that recognition is unbelievable. And I put the icing on the cake because this is my last semester, so I was like, yes.
Excellent. Well, I want to thank you all very much for the work that you've done, because in fact you make AMP possible. What was a concept is now a realization, thanks to the work that you've done and your commitment to it, and the work of Kendra and Cindy helping you along. Thanks so much for being on Parkland Report.
Thank you.
That's it for this edition of Parkland Report. We'll see you back here next time.